everyone, I'm Charlie from Random Phoenix 13, and today I will be ranking all 10 TV stories of Series 2 of the revived era of Doctor Who. This explanation usually gets shorter and shorter each time, but Doctor Who is a sci-fi show that's been going on for around 57 years, and I'm doing a series of videos where I rank all the TV stories from different seasons of it. So today I'm going to be doing Series 2. Around a week ago, then I did Series 1. I'm sorry I've been offline for around a week, but I will try to upload more frequently. So I'm just going to give you a bit of background information on Series 2, in case you haven't actually seen it and you're just interested in watching it. By the way, I've had some really nice comments on the last one explaining that I explained the episode really well without giving away spoilers. I'm going to try to do that this time, to an extent, but I'm sorry if I do accidentally let one slip. Just a warning, there may be minor spoilers, but there's one big one that I'm not going to reveal, so don't worry about that. So I'm going to be ranking all 10 TV stories of Series 2. Now, there's 13 episodes in the series, but 3 of them are two-parters, reducing it to 10 TV stories. Now, I'm not going to be including the Christmas specials either side of it, which are the Christmas Invasion and the Runaway Bride, because they're not actually part of the series, but when I've finished watching the revived era, then I will be ranking the Christmas specials, but I've not watched all of them yet, so I can't really do that. So this series features David Tennant as the 10th Doctor, who is recently regenerated and is travelling with his companion Rose, who was in Series 1. Played by Billie Piper, and this also features some really good Doctor Who villains, the Daleks, which appeared last series and are in the finale. It also has the Cybermen, which are in 2 stories, 2 of the two-parters. There's one from around the middle of the series, and there's one in the finale where they fight the Daleks. And it also features a monster which most people don't really like, but it's a very meme-worthy monster. That's why I'm including it. For some reason I could only find a Roblox skin of it, and that is the Absorbaloff from Love and Monsters. So this series also includes that. By the way, I will be doing something new. On the screen I won't be displaying the titles of the episodes, I'll just be displaying my score out of 10 for it. So I can have like a 6.7, or, I can have 1 decimal place in the score. I've been doing that just to keep track of my overall ranking, which will make it easier when I go to do a huge, multiple hour-long video ranking all episodes in the revived series. So let's start this off with 10th place is Fear Her, towards the end of the series, which has a rating of 5.6. This is one of 2 episodes in this series that I will actually say I don't like. I say any score under 6 I don't really like, and Fear Her is one of those. It's about a girl living in a town in London in 2012 who's been possessed by this alien, and whatever she draws basically is erased from existence and goes into the drawing. The main reason I don't like it, its side characters are very bland, has a really weird story, but I don't hate it. I just don't really like it. There's one episode of New Who I hate, and that's one from Series 9, which is weird because that's one of my favourite series. But anyway, this is a really forgettable story. When someone says Doctor Who to me, I definitely do not picture this or the story in 9th place. But I'm glad that the finale made up for it, because this is the episode right before the 2-part finale with the Daleks and the Cybermen. So, in 9th place, with a score of 5.9, is the episode Tooth and Claw, about a werewolf in Victorian Britain at an ancient house in Scotland, who is basically going around the castle looking for people. It's sort of a base under siege episode, if you know what they are. They appeared a lot in Classic Who, basically, where a building or a base was under attack by an extraterrestrial life force, and this is one of those. It's a bit of a fun episode, but extremely forgettable. The side characters are okay. I did quite like Rose in this episode, even though overall I don't really like her in this series. The 10th Doctor was good. It was only his 3rd story if you include the Christmas special, and it was only his 2nd in this series, and But yeah, it just wasn't very memorable, and the creature design was okay, but it was just a bit bland, to be honest. A werewolf, that's all there really is to it. So in 8th place, we're getting a bit better. I don't not like this episode, it's just a very meh episode, is The Idiot's Lantern, with a score of 6.5. This is a very okay episode. It's about a being called the Wire who basically goes into any screens and sucks people's souls out to gain more power and do it even more. It's a pretty weird episode. I think it was trying to be bigger than it actually was, with like the Wire destroying the entire country. It was the one episode in between the first and second two-parters of the middle of the series. It was kind of sandwiched in between the Age of Steel and the Impossible Planet. It's got an okay villain. The side characters I don't really like that much, but I do quite like the 10th Doctor in this. Rose doesn't really do much. She's got her soul and face sucked out pretty much immediately, so she's not really in it much. I'd almost say it's a companion light episode, but it's a bit more memorable, but still really isn't the best of the series. Moving on, I'd say this is the episodes I like, at least. This one I don't like too much. It's the first episode of this series, New Earth, which is a score of 6.9. I think by far it's the worst episode 1 of any series of any story of the revived era, which is a bit harsh, but most episode 1s are actually very good, but this one doesn't really do it. It's got quite a good setting. The CGI was quite impressive because they were in a very futuristic planet known as New Earth, after the older Earth blew up in the episode The End of the World. It's the second in the trilogy of New Earth, it's called. And it's set in a very futuristic hospital, but they found a load of people with every disease known to humanity who were being used for testing, and they've escaped and are trying to infect the entire hospital as revenge. So either they or the nurses could be the villains. The characters in this were pretty weird. It had those cat nurses, but it also had the face of Bo, also known as Jack Harkness, who was quite good in this. Obviously he didn't really do much because he's a big face in a jar, but it was quite annoying when he said he'd tell the Doctor a secret, but now he isn't dying, then he's not going to. That was quite annoying. Overall, it's not the most memorable episode, but it's still quite a good episode. I did enjoy Cassandra being a villain as well. I think it was really funny when she possessed Rose in the 10th Doctor, and they were quite good in this. I'm not that keen on Rose, but in this one she's actually alright. So that's why I've given this one the score it is. Next up is an episode that is known for being not a very good episode, but I actually quite like it. It's quite a step up from New Earth in my opinion. 7.7, the episode Love and Monsters, and it's got quite a weird title. I don't really know why it's called that, but it's a Doctor and companion light episode. It's about this person called Elton, who we're seeing on the screen, who is doing a video blog recording his time working for a group called Linda, who basically is tracking down the Doctor and his companions. And in this, then he stumbles across Jackie Tyler trying to find Rose, who's away with the Doctor. But eventually Jackie finds him out, and it doesn't really work. The main villain in this, as I showed before, is the Absorbaloff, who can absorb people and their faces go onto his skin. He is a really weird villain, and this is actually quite a solid episode. That's why I actually quite like it. But the last 20 minutes are kind of ruined by the entire Absorbaloff thing. If there hadn't really been a main villain in this, it would have been a really good episode, trying to track down the Doctor and eventually winning and finding him. But this isn't that bad an episode, quite good characters, and I do quite like how they're picked off one by one, but the Absorbaloff isn't a great villain. That's the main thing that lowers this for me. Okay, going up a step is The Impossible Planet and the Satan Pit. My least favourite two-parter of this series. However, it's a really good episode. It's at 8.0, and it's really good. It features a planet that is orbiting a black hole that shouldn't even exist, but it's being held there by a life force, which they've got to discover. After a while they realise it's the Beast, and he possesses this person, puts these really ancient marks on his skin and makes his eyes red, and he kind of picks off these people one by one as well. It's another Base Under Siege story. But this one is really good. Base Under Siege stories aren't known for being the best, but this one is actually really good. I also like the second part of this, where he actually encounters this beast and manages to escape, and it was really good. It was quite creepy as well when the Doctor and that other woman were trapped down there. It was one of the scarier episodes of the series. Next up, in 4th place, then we have School Reunion with a score of 8.2. This features the Doctor, Rose and Mickey, and features a school in modern day London, I think, and the villain is the Krillitanes, who basically make the children really smart to try and hack these computers. The plot's quite weird, and the chips make them smarter, or something like that. But anyway, the plot's really quite weird. That's the main thing that lowers this for me, stops it getting into the 9 to 10 territory. But it's mainly fan service, which is basically where a show adds in older characters to, well, not older, but previous characters who were really liked to try and get the ratings and viewing figures up. In this case it was Sarah Jane Smith and K9, who were companions of the 3rd and 4th Doctors, and it's a really enjoyable episode. I think lots of the time fan service doesn't really work, but this time it did, and made for quite a good story. But it's more focused on characters than plot, but I don't mind because it's a really good episode. In 3rd place, then we have Rise of the Cybermen Age of Steel, with a score of 8.8 out of 10. This is the first time New Who has gone to an alternate world, and we find out that Rose doesn't exist, and her dad is still alive. Mickey has a counterpart called Ricky, who is sort of evil, and kind of ahead of us in technology, definitely. There's an organisation called Cybus Industries who's creating Cybermen. They're the first time they're introduced to New Who, and it's a really enjoyable story. I especially like the second part where everyone is trying to infiltrate the cyber factory, which is really fun. And the first part's quite good too, with the cliffhanger at the end where the Cybermen are about to shoot them all. Obviously we knew that wasn't going to happen, but overall it's still made for a really enjoyable episode. Definitely a memorable one. In 2nd place, with this amazing poster, is The Girl in the Fireplace with 9.3. This basically finds out this is set mainly in 18th century France, but it's also set on a spaceship in the 54th century. Basically, there's 2 different time streams in this. It's quite hard to explain the plot, but the characters are really good in this, and it involves clockwork droids who are kind of chasing down this main character, Renette, through history. Rose and Mickey aren't really in this that much, and I think this should have been just a 10th Doctor episode, but it's a really enjoyable episode, and I quite like how it explores the whole time travel with it, because 1 second on the ship was like a year for her, and this is a really good episode. Obviously it's anywhere from 9 to 10 I consider pretty much a masterpiece. In 1st place is Army of Ghosts Doomsday, the finale where the Daleks and the Cybermen have a war, and I've rated this 9.4. It has brilliant characters. One character goes in this and another comes back. I'm not saying who they are because of the big spoiler reason, but it's a really sad episode, but it's also really good, and I just love the whole Cybermen versus Daleks war. And the plot's really good as well. I think there's this weird sphere that came from the void in between the worlds where the Daleks came from, and I really liked the reveal. I actually wasn't really expecting it. I thought it would be more Cybermen or something, But the whole ghost thing was really weird, I didn't really understand that. Overall, this is a really strong episode. Not the best finale, there are much better ones, but this is still a really, really good story, and quite a good series. So far I'm on series 7, halfway through it in fact. I'm on the episode of the Bells of St. John, and out of all 6 series, then this is actually 5th. Overall, then it's got an average score of 7.63. That's why I'm going to be doing the ranking when I've finished Series 12. So I was surprised it's that low, but I guess that's how it's got to be. I will see you tomorrow, where I'll be doing the ranking of Series 3, and I hope you enjoyed this video. By the way, every Saturday night at 8 PM British time, then there's a YouTube channel called EMS Productions, who do Doctor Who videos just like mine. Much more popular, obviously. But they do a Doctor Who quiz live every Saturday at 8 PM. I'd go and check it out, it's actually really enjoyable. Most of the time I don't win, it's quite difficult, but I think you should have a go. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you tomorrow, as I already said, and spread the word to other Doctor Who fans of my channel. I'm still quite a small channel, and I'd appreciate it if you do that so I can grow. I will see you next time, and stay random.